Welcome all my lovely apes of the internet. I am Hanya, your Demon Cinephile, and we are continuing our journey to the kingdom of the planet of the apes with the second film in the franchise, 1970's Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Beneath the Planet of the Apes is a very, uh, I don't want to say downgrade compared to the original, because I don't think it is a bad movie when comparing it to the first film. And you're watching it right afterwards, it is very weird shift, you could say. So the movie has a different main character, a new astronaut called Brent. Here's the thing: is so what I was gathered from my little research that I did. Charleston Heston, the actor who played Taylor in the first movie, he was so mindset of them doing a sequel being a horrible idea that he refused to be in most of the movie. Which, okay, that's good for him. Because I'm wondering how different the script changed when he decided not to be in basically the whole film. Like he shows up, he has like about 3 minutes in the opening, and he pops in the last 20 minutes of the film. So yeah, I wonder how very much the script changed when he decided not to do the whole thing. But no, we have our new character Brent, him and his fellow astronaut who died shortly after landing on the planet. They were sent here to go find Taylor and his crew, which I don't understand because, as was explained in the first movie, that their ship was a special ship that can travel at light speeds, and they're basically kind of like zooming into space, like they're time and space, like they're going through it, like they're hypertiming all this. And when they land on the planet, it was said, and I looked it up so I can remember, just to be sure. So when Taylor dodged and re-landed on Earth, it is the year 3978. But when Brent lands on the planet, he says they landed on 3955. So I have no idea what's the weird time frame. Maybe their computers are messed up. I mean, he did say they basically went through a wormhole, so maybe that's the reason why the timelines are kind of weird and different. Who knows? It's a weird change. Maybe it's just a line that I mixed up. But his fellow astronaut Skipper, who is his older man, he's basically he has the name Skipper. So I keep thinking, oh, he's kind of old for that name, but whatever. He died pretty quickly, but it does have a nice opening sequence where he is hurt. He's blind or got blinded during the travel. I'm not sure what. They didn't really say. He's like, my wife, my kids, everyone I knew, they're all dead. And it's like, wait, why are you taking this mission then? I mean, explain in the opening that Taylor didn't have anybody, so I can assume Dodge and Landon were the same, that they didn't have any family members. So them basically zooming through time and space and to like 2,000 years in the future would be no problem for them. But for these boys, for this guy, he's like, you knew unless they didn't tell you, like, you knew you were gonna like zip zop through timelines and stuff like that. Why would you agree to do this if you have a wife and kids? Whatever, he's a nothing character. He's never brought up again. At least not that I can recall after watching the film twice. Then he finally meets Nova, and while Nova is mute and can't tell him anything, he sees that she has Taylor's tags. Through her, we get flashbacks what happened when Taylor and her left the Statue of Liberty. They see all these weird wonky stuff where lightning storms, bad fire effects, and the Earth splitting apart, and Taylor literally falling through a wall, which instantly kind of killed the mood for the movie for me because while I don't mind those hokey things, and I kind of like them to some extent, it's like, No, we have a mostly very serious film. This kind of changes the aura, the piece altogether. But I actually do like it when they explain it later. Kinda. We'll get to that in a second. So they travel to Gorilla City. It's not Gorilla City, it's not DC Comics. But the city doesn't have a name, so we'll call it Ape City. We'll call it Ape City. So they travel to Ape City. We get this new character, Orisis, or Osiris. I don't know, they barely said this character's name, and I kind of find it hard to pronounce. There we go, General Orisis. Uris. I cannot pronounce that name, I'm so sorry. And I really like this character. He has a great screen presence and a much more antagonistic threat to our characters. I heard his name. Yeah, he's played by James Gregory. I loved him. Like, I love the use of his voice. He's so intimidating, but also calm and collected at the same time. Definitely the standout performance in the movie is by him. You guys see the different fractions of the apes, which I kind of like because we didn't get a full view of that in the first movie. This is kind of cool detail. We get reintroduced to Zira and Cornelius, whereas Nova brings Brent to them. They give him basically a load and like, yeah, so humans are cattle here. You're gonna be dissected and experimented on if you open your trap. So please leave and don't bother us because we just got back in good graces with with the community. But speaking with, because we don't really know the timeline, because with that weird time change I mentioned earlier, we don't know the big difference gap between films. Because Zayas said in the first movie that they'll be tried. If they are tried for heresy, they'll be locked away for 2 years. So I'm going to assume this movie takes place 2.5 years after the first film. So they're back in good graces with the community. So when they see these new humans popping in, they're like, please leave. Get out of here. You're scaring us. Then we eventually get to the second act of the film, where it is Brent and Nova escaping the apes, being captured by the apes, and then escaping again. So just padding for the film. It really doesn't go nowhere. They could have taken the whole part out where they get taken back to the human zoo and Zira has to save them. That whole part could be just skipped and nothing really would have been lost. And then we get to the very end of the film where it breaks it. So Brent goes to the underground city, it's New York. He's like, okay, this is my home. Has his little mind break, realizing that, yeah, we're still on Earth. Which, not even sure how that works, because in the first movie, you can assume that something weird happened on their computer, and it forced them to go back to Earth, and that's why they landed there. Here, they said they went through a wormhole. So why did the wormhole zip them back onto the planet Earth? I don't get it. But yeah, when they get there, they find a horde of human mutants that worship an atomic bomb. They have Charles Xavier powers. They can read. They can't really read minds. They can read basic thoughts, and they can make you see things, and they can make you do things. Which is why those weird effects with the lightning, the fire, and the earth shaking beginning the Taylor look kind of bad, and why I like them looking bad, because they're not supposed to be real even within the film themselves. Okay, so this kind of makes sense when you go back to the first movie, because Zayas was like, he theorized there were mutants hiding out in the Forbidden Zone. He even calls Taylor a mutant. So, okay, kind of foreshadowing. I don't think they had this in mind when they wrote the first film, but I can see what they were building on. But this whole society, I don't like it because it changes the whole nature of the film. It's like, okay, we're fighting for survival. We gotta escape the apes or befriend the apes. That's basically the main goal of the first film, is to either escape the apes or change their mind. And here we have these weird mutant people who wear face masks to hide their real muscular skin, which, why are they even wearing that? Why are they even wearing that? Like, only reason they're wearing that, one, save money for makeup, and two, is to have a big reveal in the near the end of the film, where they all take their mask off while they're praying to a nuclear bomb. Which, yeah, they pray to a nuclear bomb. Which actually is kind of cool. It's good apocalyptic feeling. Like, yeah, they think the bomb is their god, but then again, they also kind of know that it's not a god. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But not in a good weird, it's just confusing weird. The Taylor finally shows up in the film. They're like, oh, we're not going to kill you, we're going to make you kill each other because we are peaceful people. These are our powers, are weapons of peace. Hypocrites. There is one real good scene I do like though. Is when Zayas and the General Gorilla are marching through the Forbidden Zone, and the mutants conjure up this image of a bunch of apes burning on these spikes, like they're Vlad the Impaler. He's like, for good heavens, kill the poor boys, for they suffer. Like, and they got that nice little religious world building. He's like, I can't. Ape can't kill ape. Then they see the image of the lawgiver, which is kind of like their prophet, their version of Jesus, bleeding. You're like, Zayas, he goes full preacher. He's like, no, this is an illusion. This is not real. He goes through the fire. He's like, come with me, my brothers. Let's kill these abominations. That was a really well executed scene. Probably the best one in the film. Yeah, but after that, the film ends off with a big epic shootout. Nova dies. They go to the church. Brent dies very horribly. And like, I'm still surprised the film is rated G, because they show the blood, they show the bullet hole in the brain, and it gets pretty gory for a moment. Taylor gets shot in the heart. You see all the blood spewing out, and he's begging Zayas, like, please, you gotta listen to me, you gotta stop the bomb. He's like, I don't listen to the filthy humans, disgusting creatures, abominations against my god. And Taylor, intentionally or unintentionally, while he dies, falls over, presses the doomsday button, and because this is a 70s film, it is not just a regular nuke, it is a doomsday nuke that burns apart the entire planet. So that is Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and it is a very, like I said, it's not a bad film, but it is weird. So the main character, Brent, who are you played again by? James Franciscus. Yeah, he is a okay protagonist. Like, compared to Taylor, he's a much more likable protagonist. He's a much more likable person. But when the film starts, you have all the same characters coming back. You got Zayas, you got Zira, Cornelius, you got Nova. You're just thinking, I don't want to follow him. I want to follow Tyler. I want to follow the first cast again. You feel like this character's kind of intrudes on the story. Zira and Cornelius, they have two great scenes, like when they're helping out the humans and talking to Zayas. And once again, you can see the not black and white, the grays Zayas, because he's not just a bland antagonist. He's like, yeah, I don't really like you two, but if I die, I'm giving you in charge of our scientific community. Which I like it. It's still good writing, because Zayas, he's not just a standard I don't like you creatures. He's not just a simple bigot character. Besides that, nothing else much to like. Like I said, Brent is just an intruding protagonist. The mutants, while interesting, because they had this thing where they speak telepathically, and when they're speaking, you don't hear the words, you hear just a little beep, very interesting because Brent can hear them, but he's like, we don't hear what they're asking. We just hear him responding, and he had these weird psychic hums that kind of happens when they get a little closer into the underground layer, which I love and hate because I hate electrical hums. Like they trigger my brain so bad. So it made me feel very weird and uncomfortable while they're exploring their ruins. So I like that part. It kind of takes a big kind of not really horror but dystopian twist at the end, which is cool but not what I wanted for a continuation. Yeah, so I'm not really sure how to rate this movie. It's like I said, it's not bad. It's not a bad film on its own, but as a continuation of the original film, it is. I don't see why it has to be there. It doesn't feel necessary. I don't know, when the main character of the film said he didn't want to come back for the movie, maybe you shouldn't have made part 2. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought. But Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Have you seen it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I want to know what you think down below. Is this the weakest of the franchise? I'm really curious though, because I never really hear anything bad about these films, so I was very sad to see how much I didn't really like this one. So I hope they continue to get better from here on out. But I love how the end of the film where the narrator says, "Yes, the Earth is dead. On this faraway galaxy, on this one star with its insignificant blue satellite, all life is gone." And then we have another sequel coming out in 3 more years. Interesting film. I'm unsure why it had to be a sequel to Planet of the Apes. That's all I have to say. But I'm glad I watched it. Can't wait to see what the next film has in store. Wait for me later, and we'll meet up again for Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Bye-bye. See cups. Beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. You're still here? You're actually still here at the end of the video? Oh, I'm surprised. Thank you for staying for the whole thing. If you have a few more seconds of your time, if I could, can you scroll down to that description and hit that little button that takes you over to my Twitch? I stream there almost every day. We play horror games, action games, and visual novels. So, if you don't mind, if you like what I do here, if you can stand my annoying voice here, follow me on Twitch and we can hang out some more. Alright, hope to see you over there. Have a good day.